when you're isolated, you feel like you're in a prison, and it can be a very difficult place to get out of that. You may even be around people, you may not even be restricted where you are, but you may feel alone. You may feel like nobody understands you. You may feel like you've got some deep hurts inside that are preventing you from being able to be around people. There might be a shame element there. There could be so many different factors, but what we know about isolation is that we often use it as a place of protection. So it's like a prison that we put ourselves in because we feel safe. You know, some people, some criminals prefer to be in prison because when they get out, they don't know what to do with themselves. They feel safer in prison walls than out in the world. And that's what often happens when we isolate. And isolation is something that affects men very much. We live in a world where men are expected to be strong. We're expected to be strong for others. We're expected to be the pillar of strength for others. And when we don't feel like that, when we have our own stuff going on, we have our own depression, or we have different types of weakness, what do we do with that? And that can be very challenging because the world's always telling us, hey, you need to reach out for help. Hey, you need to get support. But sometimes just saying that doesn't really help. We know that we need support, but finding that can be difficult. And so I just want to encourage you, for if that's who you are, God is inviting you first into a place of prayer, a place of closeness with Him. You see, strong men aren't the ones who just conquer and ignore their own weaknesses. They're not the ones that find an inner strength inside. The strong men of the Bible are the ones who were weak before God. And so if you feel weak, if you have struggles, first I want to encourage you to go to your prayer closet and lay all of that weakness before God, because the fathers may not have told their sons that this is the way that strong men of God operate, but this is the way we operate. We go to God with everything and we pour it out before Him, and He strengthens us. And then we can be the men who are the strong husband or the strong fathers that we want to be. But that's the secret, is being weak before God, and then He will strengthen us back. An unhealthy habit is to just go into isolation and to just dwell on your own thoughts. And I think that's where a lot of guys, they turn to, is they go hunting or they go out into the wilderness and they just think. And sometimes that's needed, but I would just encourage you to bring that into a prayer with God, because you're not alone. And you're not going to solve your problem just regurgitating it in your head. You think that you're a problem solver, and if you just get enough time to think, you'll figure it out, but you won't figure it out. And that's why God wants men to go to Him in prayer and to bring everything before Him. And that's when we're going to get strong. That's when He is going to lift us up, when we're vulnerable to Him. So the world says men can't be weak. Well, yeah, the world's not going to respond well when men are publicly weak. But that's the thing, is we go to our prayer closet and we bring our stuff before God. He makes us strong. Then we can go out and be that strength. Now, there's also a community aspect to it, and I don't want to diminish the value of that. God often works through others in His church. And this is going to require a lot of humility and giving up some pride. Sometimes it's going to require forgiveness and letting go of bitterness, because bitterness and unforgiveness keep a lot of people isolated and unwilling to be a part of the church. But the church is there to lift each other up. God actually works through other people who have gone through similar circumstances, and He has made them strong so that they can lift up those who are weaker in certain areas. So I want to encourage you to go to the church, and that's going to require you breaking down those walls of comfort So that's going to be a bit of a challenge. I'm not going to lie, that's going to take some sacrifice. That's going to take a very difficult decision to let go of those walls of protection and to actually open yourself up in humility to others. But I also want to say, encourage you not to be ashamed if you're struggling with finding a church, if you're struggling with fitting in with a church. If that's where you're at now, I just want to release you from any shame, because it is difficult. And sometimes God, He has a church for us, but it takes a while for Him to lead us to the right place. I also want to encourage you that there are some ministries out there that don't look like a church building, but there are ministries that help with very specific struggles, with addiction, with just different things that people struggle with. And sometimes those places are a little bit more in tune with what you're needing than just the regular church building on Sunday. But don't give up on being part of the body. And yes, people are, we all have flaws. Yes, the church might hurt you again. Overall, the function of the church is for us to function together with one another. So I encourage you, get out of that place of dwelling in your thoughts. Get out of those prison walls that you're in. Get out of that place of isolation that goes nowhere, and bring all of that to God in prayer. And I just want to encourage you that God is so faithful. He is going to show you a way out of that isolation. Just bring it to Him, bring it in prayer, and be open to how He's going to strengthen you.